if we have the ability, we all have the same music. Why are we going to play it the same? You might as well make your own edits so you could sound different and stand, like sound more unique, set yourself apart from everybody else. And I sort of just took that and ran with it pretty much, man. From 2006 forward, it started with, before that, a few years before that, I was making my own edits on Acid Pro and then got into Ableton and pretty much been Ableton ever since.
And we couldn't both agree more about, the edits and the production, even production and editing and making bootlegs on a small level is setting yourself apart from a lot of different DJs. And if we got young DJs listening right now, this is just another example of somebody else saying exactly what we've been saying. You got to figure out and learn how to edit and make yourself sound different from the guy who played the night before.
Oh, so I was going to say, so you start making these edits and you're doing this. At what point does the email blast come along? Are you just sharing them with anybody that will take them? Are you making them just for yourself? What's the progression here?
At first, I was making them for myself, for my sets, and then at the time I was, it was MySpace era. I was meeting DJs on MySpace, and then there was a lot of message boards at the time, if you guys remember. The Z-Trip message board. There was Holotronics, which was Diplo's message board, and just kind of got into those circles of different DJs and different groups. And, I would just started asking people for their emails. It was one of those things. It was sort of I watched something on marketing back then, and it was like, what's a good way to get people's information? Well, ask for their email, and that's literally what I did. Like, then Twitter came out in 2008. I've been on Twitter since 2008. And I remember one of the first tweets that I sent out was like, if anyone wants my edits, shoot me your email. And that's literally how it was. Just like, a dozen people at first and a couple of thousand over time. But for me, it was, one, it's paying it forward. I'd never charge for anything. You know what I mean? If it works for you, cool, man. If what I send you enhances your set, then cool. Down the line, it'll turn into something else. I've always been big on paying it forward with everything. So crazy to believe that I've gotten a ton of opportunities just because I sent people edits years ago.
All three of us here, I can say the exact same thing. My career is exactly where it is, only from making edits that I was going to make for myself. It was for no other reason than I just wanted a better way to play a song.
Yeah, it was.
And you were heavy on the Serato boards too. I remember seeing.
Oh
you, right?
Man, yeah, no, that's where a lot of it grew, pretty much. Yeah, it was an interesting time. The mid to late 2000s was interesting. It was just fun, man. I think it was like once Serato came in, it was a whole new discovery of music happening. People had access to music they never had access to before. You didn't have limitations to just your one genre. You were able to just dip into everything. You had all these different artists that were experimenting with all these different sounds. You had MIA out there. You had Diplo, who was making crazy shit at the time. And, remember the Baltimore club takeover back then,
Yeah.
Early Dirty Dutch, to think of all the different sounds we've gone through in the past 2 decades. It's a roller coaster, but it was a good time, man. And I think you can tell the people that made it and the people who didn't, people go through phases, musically. So
that's one thing I will say about you. You've always been great about networking and staying in contact with people and staying positive. There's been many a times where there's Facebook arguments or something getting heated and Audio1 brings the peace.
Yeah.
Peace 100%.
Doesn't always work, believe me.
But you're there with a positive attitude.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way you got to look at life is is it worth all the nonsense out there? Everyone's always going to think different, so not everyone can agree on everything. You just got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? Given the way things are in this world, not everyone's going to get along. If people really put how they felt about everything, most people wouldn't get along. You know what I mean?
And that's why you were unable to answer what you would do.
Right.
One night without any consequences.
Without the consequences.
Oh, man.
You would go after everybody on Facebook.
No, nothing like that. No.
All right, guys, make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe, and the bell icon for more Drew and Few Show content. Thank you all for watching.
The Drew and Few Show.